Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Najati, Dr. Najati, you are welcome. And
How are you?
Alhamdulillah, now we can start, inshallah.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala ali kulli wa sahbi kulli ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to another Quranic journey. Inshallah, today we're going to continue on our Quranic reflection in regard to Quran being the book of wisdom. Now, when we talk about book of wisdom, obviously we mean that Quran provide guidance and help us to study the universe, to study the creation, and the Quran invite us to utilize the creation as an evidence, as a sign with which we can reach certainty, with which we can connect to the Creator. But when it comes to the studying the creation, we have well-established disciplines under scientific names looking at the creation as well. And what we have been discussing in last 2 weeks, this will be our third weeks, we try to look at what are the problem with the secular study of the creation, and what are the tricks that those philosopher, secular scientists are using to, in a way, take away the creation from us as an eye, as a sign, and then to see how we can reclaim the creation, how we can reflect on creation, and how we can see the sign as we reflect on them. Now, last week we discussed one question, came from one of you, and the question was, as we study the universe, learn more about it, does this mean that our language is going to change and expand as well as our understanding of the creation expand? And we had a very lengthy discussion in terms of how we should understand the creation in terms of being a dynamic, in terms of a universe being created from moment to moment, and particularly in modern time, the quantum physics that provide a quite elegant evidence on that. So therefore, our point was that indeed, the universe is expanding, our understanding of the universe is expanding, and the way we express our understanding have to expand as well. So in this regard, that we can look at essentially 3 things that go side by side. If we want to recap what we discussed before, we can say that indeed, as we study the universe, we find out the universe potentially expanding to the level that has no limits. The more we learn, the more we find out we need to study more. So in a way that I think it was Newton first describing that and saying that he considered himself like a child working, playing with some pebble on the ocean side, while there's the whole ocean out there is undiscovered. So what we find out that as we discover more, we find out even there are more to be discovered. So that is one. And with that, obviously, we have to, as we discover and expand our understanding, we have to expand our vocabulary as well, or language as well, with which we're going to describe the reality. And it's very interesting that also applicable to the Quran. As we expand our language, as we reflect on creation, and we go back to the Quran, or we reflect on Quran, we find out the Quran is unending ocean as well. So, and that is truly amazing to see. In a way, we have human capability that is not limited, and the universe giving to us that looks expanding and kind of enormous books never end. Keep reading, and then also you look at the Quran as the guide to read the creation. Present the same features as well. So that was essentially in a way, and the key summary of what we discussed last week and even the week before. I think those 2 weeks together. Now, this week we're going to continue from that. And one thing I really want to bring to your attention, and I hope you can really pay attention very carefully. What we are discussing is really not just intellectual, philosophical discourse. It is very relevant to us in modern times, because the tricks that we're going to discuss, the ideology that we will, inshallah, try to unveil, is dominating the mind and the heart of individual in 21st century. It's part of every curriculum. It is every textbook. To understand the root cause of this materialist secular ideology and to be able to identify it and remove that, I think is one of the most important, but perhaps is the most challenging task ahead of us. So let's start. Make dua for us, and inshallah, with blessing of Allah and with explanation of Dr. Ali, we can manage to handle this very, very important issue, inshallah.
No, thank you. Excellent point. I am excited. I am excited. Now, I got it from your comment here. Not only universe is extending, not only Qur'an is expanding, meaning of Qur'an is expanding, human capacity is expanding. Human belief in the source of existence of the universe is also expanding. That is increase in belief. If you combine all of them, or this the universe, utilizing human capacity and the Quran. So, of course, you said the trick. It is interesting. We will go into this trick that the materialist scientists use and cheat people. They are how to double-faced, double-faced. When they speak among themselves, they say, we cannot explain this, we're just describing it. When they speak to the people, science will explain everything. So that is what the trick going on, especially during the 20th and 21st century now, starting from actually late 19th century. Now, they say, now we have to understand that the latest philosophy invading the world claims that, I think the host will take care of the video showings. The host is here? No.
Yeah, what is happening? I don't know, Dr. Ali.
Yeah, something, somebody is using video now. Now, they say latest philosophers, the latest developments in philosophy, they left, actually, philosophy left the universe and trying to explain the existence of the universe and how can they explain it. They declared that we cannot do that and left it to science. And scientists became philosophers now. Now, on the philosophy side, lots of currents are developed late after 20th century onwards. They keep saying that the universe is silent. What does it mean? We have to be careful. Another trick here, Dr. Rajati. Universe doesn't tell you anything. No? They keep using this word. There is a silent universe. I am asking, for example, they say, look, this language is very, very widely used by philosophers. I am asking question, why am I here? What am I going to do with my life? What is the reality of life? They say, there is no answer from the universe. The universe is silent. So I have to discover by myself. Is the universe silent? Let me start from here. The Quran says, أَنْتَقَنَ اللَّهُ الَّذِي أَنْتَقَ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ. It means Quran says no, universe is not silent. We keep using the analogy of book, saying that the universe is a book to be read. Yeah, all right. I have heard of this word from you, Dr. Najati, maybe hundreds of times. Now that is correct, but that is not enough. Why? We have to upgrade. I mean, starting from the book, that's correct, but we have to go. It is not the correct. A book is uh, static, and we have to go through the mirror. Universe is a mirror, because mirror itself is static, but what it reflects in it is dynamic. If what it reflects in it is dynamic, you can see a dynamic movement in the mirror. Got it? Now, and that is not enough either, according to the Quranic concepts. The Quran says, no, it is not only a mirror is there and moving some, showing some movements. No, no. The Quran says, in the view of the Quran, introduces the universe to us. Universe is speaking. It means consciously speaking to you. It means continuous uh, renovation, renewal of the universe is continuous speech, introducing its creator, its source of existence to conscious beings. If only we have to have, the Quran keeps saying that uh, just tell them those who pay attention, heed, listen to, will understand. And the Quran keeps saying that you cannot show those people who are blind, you cannot make those people who are deaf. You remember these verses?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Summun,
yeah.
summun. Very, very
How many? How
many
many?
times.
It means while we are looking at the universe, observing the universe, what is going on now in the, of course, in the modern hemisphere of the world, is spring is coming. Continuous shouting, not only speaking. The universe is saying, here I am demonstrating the qualities of my creator as you have missed during the winter season. Now, there was another type of speech there, but now this is more attractive, more beautiful, than more charming. You enjoy it. It's speaking. My creator loves you. Here are the flowers. Every plant is flowering. The animals are singing. The birds are singing, animals are coming up. Now I see the ants are coming up, other insects are coming up, saying that you thought that we didn't exist. Here we are again. These are all speech of the universe speaking to human mind. If only you should not turn deaf to it. Materialists turn deaf to it. So everything is speaking. Now, we have to get ready to the problems of our friends here must prepare themselves to the problems of the age. Now we are in this age. What we are doing, we say that we see that the wave of denial is really uh, invading the social media everywhere, saying that science will explain everything, but the universe is silent. We will study the universe and explain how everything works and make your life more and more comfortable. You will be dependent on more tech, more and more technology, and we will use you also exploit your labor, your energy, human energy. They know generally what is happening in this world. We have to get our answers to it. People are not aware of the meaning of their life. Even one might say, I believe in God, but what shall I do? I believe in God, so what shall I do? They follow a religion, just follow the what tradition offers them. But we have to be uh, ready. We have to educate ourselves and be sure about our iman, our belief in God. And when we say we believe in the Quran, when we have to know the details of the Quran, the message of the Quran, inshallah. Now,
Yeah,
last
Dr.
week,
Ali, may I add something to that speaking universe? Can
yeah.
we go back to the, yeah, I think this point is really essential to highlight. As you mentioned, when they say silent universe, they mean that the universe does not have any meaning, doesn't say anything. But when
Mhm.
we say speaking universe, we say no, not only the universe speaks, the universe actually communicates meaningful message to you. And the Quran in many verses, Sabbaha, Yusabbihu, Tusabbihu. One of my favorite verses, this is says, Tusabbihu lahu samawatu sab'u wal ardu wa man fihinna wa in min shay'in illa yusabbihu bihamdihi. Now, I think that is, and this is walakin la tafquna, but you don't understand their tasbih. So the point here is that from the Quranic perspective, there is nothing that which does not speak. And when they speak, not only they speak and make noise, they make tasbih, means they speak about the creator in a praising word, and not empty word, in a wise manner, in a praising manner. So that, I think, is obviously, very essential if we could, hear this voice and hear the speaking or the speech of the creation. I think then our relationship with creation and the creator will be very different. In a way, when I look at it, it's a miracle that was given to the Prophet, peace be upon him. The rock were making zikr, but I'd say, no, actually, it's not only for him. The rocks and flower and bird make a zikr for us as well. Only if we know how to listen, if we're not blocked, and deaf in this regard to this message. That's what I want to add.
As the Quran says, this is only for those who have ears to listen. Now we have to study those verses. They are exciting. They are very fresh. Although they were revealed 1400 years ago, but as if they are speaking to people now, 21st century people, answering all these stupid claims of the philosophers. I am sorry for my language. Now, okay, last week, one of friends asked questions, then you forward these questions to me. And also, we have to acknowledge those people who follow the discussions seriously and share their questions with us. Now, the first question is, teacher, same is the case with circumambulating around the Kaaba. Do you remember the Hajj and stoning the
Chapter one,
Satan?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Now in Mash'ar al-Haram. That circumambulating around the Kaaba, just like electrons revolve around nucleus, Okay, well, why not? I mean, you can imagine, although the latest physical discoveries say electrons don't revolve around nucleus. So they are everywhere at the same time. The theories, but at the same time, really demonstrating something of the universe is so wonderful, wonderful creation, miraculous creation. Now, uh, doesn't matter in your idea. You can say that I am the earth or the moon circumambulating around the earth, or I am the earth circumambulating around the sun. It means what is the gist of the message in this question? And I took it seriously. I am harmonizing my understanding of the creator together with the movements of the universe. That is beautiful. Yeah, as a conscious human being, I am representing the tasbih, declaration of the qualities of the creator made by the universe as a conscious being, as caliph of the caliph on earth. I am representing the exaltation, tasbih of the universe with my own actions, with my own words. So it is actually, it is beautiful if you make dhikr, right? The second question, it says, making dhikr and tasbih follow the same ruling as well. If you make dhikr together with the universe, with the angelic side of the universe, the meaning that you receive from the message of the universe, the way the universe is created, you harmonize your understanding with them and you make the dhikr, oh beautiful one, oh all powerful one, the oh Qadir, Ya Munawwir, everything is really uh, light. Yeah, sorry. So together with the universe, that is beautiful. So pointing to Tawhid, as we know that Tawhid is not a noun rather than an active verb. Yes, we have to be active alongside with the universe. You know, making dhikr with the stars, with the drops of rain, making dhikr with flowers and the trees, animals. It is excellent, conscious, together with the witness. It is beautiful. So the second question. So, sir, I don't like this, sir. I'm not a sir. I am a humble me. So, but, or Dr. Najati, maybe. It's not me. So, here in these particular verses, Satan is used as a metaphor. This is a serious question. I took it very seriously. The other one is also a serious concern, but we have to study this one. Satan is used as a metaphor instead of a literal mean being. A question mark. It means Satan, we should take it a metaphor or a real being. Okay, Dr. Najat, shall I ask you a question? If I say Satan is a metaphor, or no, it's a literally existing being. What are you going to do with it? Okay. Do we think that Quran mentions all this, whether you have to say, no, Satan is not a metaphor. It is a real being. Or no, it is a metaphor, not a real being. What are you going to gain with it? Why do you think the Quran talks about Satan? Why? And tells me seek refuge from the Satan with God. Wow. I have to look at my responsibility when I read the Quran. What am I going to confirm? What am I going to gain? If I reject it, what am I going to gain? No, no, no. It is a metaphor. What did you learn from it? So useless to me. Uh, Talking about
I,
this
I I
subject.
think
What?
like Dr. Ali, just want to add, because I think Shaitan is doing good job by making people to deal with this aspect, not their responsibility. Again, maybe that's also from Shaitan.
Now, yeah, that is, we should be careful. Why does the Quran, God, uh, tell this subject to me? That's what we are going to study, inshallah. As there are also saying about the devils that used to eavesdrop on the heavens. Yes, there are verses there, ayat. We will study that. Therefore, we must understand these verses in terms of this metaphoric expression. I mean, I just pass by metaphoric expression because it is not our concern whether metaphoric expression or literal existence. Pass it, pointing to devilish ideas. Ah, that is interesting for me because Satan, whatever it is in the Quran, anything devilish is represented by Satan or Iblis, right? It means baseless, no true at all. Has no truth at all. Now, I took this subject seriously. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فإذا قرأت القرآن فاستعذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إنه ليس له سلطان على الذين آمنوا وعلى ربهم يتوكلون إنما سلطانه على الذين يتولونه والذين هم به مشركون. Now, Sadaqallahu al-Azim. I really confirm this ayah. When you recite the Quran, now we have to be very careful here. Please, everyone. First, me. When you recite the Quran, it means receive the message from the Quran. Try to understand the Quran, Quranic message. Seek refuge with God from Satan, the accursed, stoned. Rajim means regime, regime, stoning. It means go away. You have no meaning at all, no reality at all. You represent no reality at all. I have nothing to do with you. That is regime, right? Okay. Well, what does it mean? We will talk about it. He has no power over those who believe and trust in their Lord. It means if you read the universe and see what the message the universe is delivering to you, and if you read the Quran, you will see that the parallel between the Quran, the message of the Quran, and also what the universe is conveying to you about its source of existence. Now you have to combine them. So he has no power over those people who receives the message from the Quran and looks at the universe and receives the message from the universe and see they are compatible to each other as my right and left hand come together. Oh, compatible. But where they are separated as if they are different. No, they are just compatible to each other, exactly the same. So, like this, all right? His power, Satan's power, it means really baseless ideas, is only over those who ally themselves with him. Just divert the message because no reality at all in the universe. Say it's happening by itself. No, throughout random happenings, throughout billions of years, making a big number, now As a result of Dr. Nejat, as a result of random choices, a perfect order of the universe became so consistent. I always say that I believe in maybe in Greek mythology, but I cannot believe in this. So I don't believe in Greek mythology, but Greek mythology is symbolically, when you read it symbolically, somehow makes sense. But this claim never makes sense. But they put some names. We studied this. Huh? Names, putting a name is very important. So those people who ally with satanic ideas, what does it mean? I, as the Quran says, uh, let me now, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in Surah Nuh, it is excellent words. Those people who can take note and uh, study these words, excellent. Let me see, Surah Nuh, 71, 71st Surah of the Quran and Ayah. Let me see this. Mhm. Now, وإني كلما دعوتهم لتغفر لهم جعلوا إصابعهم في آذانهم واستغشوا ثيابهم. Now, these are the details. But this word is very important. وَأَصَرُّوا وَأَصَرُّوا. It means obstinately uh, insisted that we are not going to accept the Creator. أَصَرُّوا واستكبروا استكبارا. It is the ayah number istikbara 7, 71, 7. Study, everybody should study this 71, 7, this ayah. But of course, as we understand here, why they are obstinate, sworn enemy of belief. They have historical background. They struggled with Christianity. Historically, this is not our subject. But when it comes to criticizing religion, they criticize Christianity and Torah. They and generalize it for Islam as well, for the Quran as well. This is another trick, Dr. Najati. We have to be very careful. They take this literal sentence from Torah and Christian ideas and also church attitude of the church in no, 17th, 18th century and before even Enlightenment and reform movements in Europe. And their attitude, church's attitude is criticized rightly. I agree with them to criticize them, but they generalize and use an umbrella language saying all religion is mythology. Now Islam is gone. Islam is the source of discovering how to study the universe, and they don't see it. They never mention. They changed the names of scholars who studied the universe, started off with these sciences. Anyway, these are many tricks are going on in the world. Allahu Akbar. So they obstinately deny the Creator. Said, "I'm not going to accept and go into religion." And these are those people who join partners with God. Now, how do they do it? That the Quran is beautifully, as our friend who asked the question put it, beautifully describes this. They are trying to get some evidence from the universe, but they cannot find it. Now, Bismillah. إلا من استرق السمع فأتبعه شهاب مبين. Any eavesdropper will be pursued who wants to get an evidence, real evidence from the universe. What happened now? They are trying to explain. It happens like this, not the thing itself. For example, they keep saying that oxygen cannot make water. Of course, we know that. There is no property in oxygen. And how about hydrogen? Hydrogen cannot make water. We know that because there is no evidence whatsoever. They know that they cannot claim it at all. But they when they come together, there is a new property came out. How do they come out? How? Who arranged it? How does it happen? They just observe it, and they say they are explaining. They never explain everything, Dr. Najati. They describe it, what they see. Looking at the house, for example, looking at the house, they say this house has, for example, 2 stories and 4 windows, such and such, made of bricks or concrete, whatever it is, that a steel house or made of steel, and they describe it. Yeah, they describe it. Why do they claim that they explain everything? Science will explain everything. Why do they say that? From description, jumped into explanation. Look at the tricks. Now, hoax box. So, what a clearly visible flame. What does it mean? Clearly visible. Shihabun mubin. What does it mean? The universe, the reality of the universe, the way it is created, the way it exists, completely hits them. You have no right to misinterpret me. So you are following, trying to get some truth from studying the universe in order to confirm their denial. They cannot get any evidence from the universe to be have an evidence in the existence of the universe to support their unbelief, denial. And the Quran says kufr.
Dr. Ali,
Yeah.
may I add something there? I think there are two very important points that you highlight that are two separate. So the first one, the ayah says, whenever you recite the Quran, starts with A'udhu, says, seek the refuge from, with Allah from shaitan. So a lot of people took it this in a literal sense, only say, oh, I need to say A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim when I recite Quran. That's true. But what do you really mean and why you're supposed to recite that? Do you really understand it? I think what you explain essentially is saying, look, don't just memorize and mimic and the Prophet, peace be upon him, when recite Quran, understand and mean it. So in this case, what basically, based on what you explain, it means for us to really benefit from Quran, we have to first negate and reject the satanic ideology and ideas and put them aside. If you're going to go and read Quran through those secular materialist ideology, you cannot benefit from it. If you're going to go and have the lens of, let's say, this ideology and then try to read Quran, you are not going to get the true message from the Quran in terms of the creation. So that's, I think, it's very, very essential. And this satanic idea is essentially any false ideology about the creation. That is very much what they are injecting through the education to the mind and the heart of individual. That's what we really need to be aware, and that's what we need to, in a way, critically reflect and negate as we approach to the Quran. How does the Quran speaks about the rain? And how does in the school I learn about the rain? If I'm going to actually use my knowledge of the rain, of the seed, of the DNA from the secular science and try to understand the Quran, I am going to get a wrong understanding. So that is, I think, the first one. That's the first part. Now, the second part, as you mentioned, that's also very amazing because most people might literally, if they take the ayah literally, is like thinking as if, those, there is a literally, let's say, throwing of the rocks or stars to the Satans when they try to get some idea. But I think your interpretation is that means those misguided people try to steal something from creation to use as an evidence for their baseless ideology, but the creation, as you look and reflect on it, will negate and reject this completely nonsense ideology. So which means that for us as a believer, that we need to pay attention to the creation, to see how the creation, the way it's manifested, is essentially negating and rejecting this false ideology. So I think that's part it's very, very beautiful. And finally, as you mentioned, we live in an age of scientism in which that science is really take the form of religion. People believe in science as if as absolute truth, as if it can answer any question, while in reality, science just make observation and experimentation and provide very useful knowledge in terms of describing what has been observed. But science cannot explain what is observed, as the examples that you mentioned, that science can help us to understand that there is hydrogen and oxygen, there is a reaction, but it cannot explain how this happened, why this is happening. It can only take the picture and show us the picture and say, look, see what I observed there. And we appreciate that. That's excellent. But when we ask question, how this is happening and why this is happening, why the water has those amazing properties as it has, there is absolutely no explanation. Now, it's ironic, I will say, as we engage in 5D education program, we almost everywhere, we see people that who truly believe in science, what we say, when science as is taught is not sufficient and is misguiding, they tell us, no, you don't need to bring God in science subjects. If you're going to teach about God, teach about it in Islamic studies. Science is science, and science can answer how something is happening. Don't bring God and say this can explain through God. I can tell you that how many times I have to encounter those individuals and say, no, it doesn't make sense. Why are you bringing God into the science? Don't mention God in science because science is sufficient to explain what you study about the creation. Stick with science. And if you're going to talk about God in Islamic study. This is, I think what you're mentioning is the pain that we feel and the problem we observe wherever we go. And I don't know how we're going to really explain and say, no, you cannot do science. You cannot study the creation without God because you cannot explain it, because you cannot answer the how and why question without God. And therefore, I mean, I know that we have been talking about the subjects, and in one way, you're telling me, like, do you think we really is it needed? But if you, from my own experience, I think we can talk about this subject almost every week. I will not get tired of it because I feel the need for it. I feel this is the disease of modern time, and those who go through the education, they are infected by this ideology. If we could do anything, provide the guidance to say, this is how you can identify this in physics, chemistry, biology. This is how you can find the trick of the secular ideology. And I think the whole ummah and perhaps the whole humanity will be very thankful to you and to Allah for this blessing, because it's unbelievably tricky and deceptive ideology affecting almost every mind and heart. So therefore, I
Now,
really appreciate your explanation. Please continue. Sorry for this long interruption, but I really had to kind of add to bring to our attention, inshallah.
you get excited to
Yes.
to hear that, or when the subject comes, Quran and the universe works together. So if someone really tries to steal the truth and mix it with its false ideas and make it appear as if the truth, every being, visible flame, obvious flame, is mubin, is obvious, not only by eye, it is obvious to the mind, human mind. I should change it, this visible plane, not the obvious plane.
Yeah, Mubin is obvious, actually.
Yeah. Obvious flame. What's this?
Yes, B.
Obvious flame. So obvious flame, it means everything is an obvious flame. An atom is an obvious flame, a seed is an obvious flame, a star is an obvious flame, a fly is in the Quran, and for example, spider is an obvious flame, an ant is an obvious flame, a honey bee is an obvious flame, a flame. You have no reality at all. Go away. Rejects the reality of universe. They're beautiful. That is how we should read the Quran, inshallah. Inshallah, we will have some scholars who study the Quran from this perspective, existence of the universe, reading the Quran alongside with the universe, with the witnessing of the universe. We need a tafsir. Inshallah, someone will do it. Inshallah. Bismillah. Now, we have to be very careful. I will read it, Dr. Najati. It is not difficult, but we may not be we might not have got used to this kind of language that these philosophers use. But we have to know the trick there, what they are doing. Now, this person that we have been talking, he is really the most influential man, prepared the language for scientists. He's a very recent man, actually died in 1980 or 90, and recently. So provided the language for the scientists. All scientists are using his method. He provided it. So that is why I take this man seriously. So this man is saying, Wittgenstein is saying that the fact that anything exists at all rather than nothing, look at this. Why? This existence, where did that come from? The Big Bang. Come on, don't be ridiculous. I am the Big Bang or small bang, whatever it is. There is no small bang in the world. Anyways, every atom is a Big Bang. so, so going back in millions years ago, making it a mysterious thing happening, and how everything is happening right now, new. Everything is newly changing. How? They say, why does it happen like this? How does it happen? How do you explain the existence of the things itself? It says it belongs to the realm of the mystic. Why? Which is beyond that language and science can address. Now, language and science cannot address why you are asking how the things come into existence. Yeah? How anything comes into existence. existence rather than nothing. I exist rather than nothing. Let's say this is beyond what language and science. Now, declare that I have nothing to do about explaining the universe. I am just describing the house. I am not saying how the house or anything came into existence. No, I have no idea. But I am just taking the picture and describing it to you. What science doesn't say that I'm going to explain it. And this man says it is beyond the language as well. Why? It says it looks very clever at once. If you are not careful, the people swallow it. Most of the brilliant scientists, but deliberately, as a result of obstinacy, as the Quran says, obstinacy. Now, sarru, obstinately uh, defended themselves. Language. Why language? Because, if I say there is nothing in this world, no. Why does he do this trick? We have to be careful. If something does not exist, we cannot put a name for it. Doesn't exist. So what does he do this trick now? We have to be careful because why? Then how the things come into existence, how the things change into another form at every moment continuously in the perfect order, perfect form. You are a baby, perfect form. Child, perfect form. A young man, perfect form. At every stage, you are perfect in your existence. How does it happen? It says this question belongs to the realm of here it is belongs to
Mysticism.
the realm of mystical. Look, mystical. Because I can describe the thing and I don't know who made it or how it came into existence. I cannot answer this, and the maker of the house is not here. So it is mystical. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? You are reading a book, Dr. Najati, and saying that this uh, brilliant philosopher, in quote unquote, then I am looking at this book and learning something. What did you learn? This information. He says, no, you cannot talk about it because I cannot get the information that put in the lab. It is not physical. So you cannot use this word because it doesn't exist. Not you can say information, knowledge, but knowledge is not physical thing, entity. So you cannot talk about it. Can you imagine when you go and see a sign there? Yeah. For example, on the road, you are traveling. You want to go from where you live, Mecca to Medina. All right, let's go from Mecca to Medina. It is time, inshallah. Now, and there is a signpost there, Medina and an arrow. You, he says, we have to go to Medina this way. Why? The signpost says Medina is in this direction. Wittgenstein says there is no language there. The sign is just a plate, and there is some color on it, physical, yes? It doesn't point to anything else because I cannot get the message when you look at the signpost, put into lab and study it. It is beyond the science. It is mystical. Look at the trick. Look at the trick. It is beyond science. Realm of, it is beyond science. It belongs to the realm of mystical. Do you see this trick? Wow. I think but no one will swallow it anymore. Only we wake up, inshallah.
Dr. Ali, may I ask? Yeah, I know you continue that, but I think this is important to ask. May I ask a question on this, maybe with little comment? Because the point here is that whether the science shall just focus on the material side, or whether the science has anything to do with the meaning of the creation. So in this idea is that the meaning is not subject for science. It's not because he's saying, oh, there is a meaning and you can go and study. He essentially claiming there is no meaning and you just made it up. So if he says like science only study the molecules and atoms, but we don't really understand the meaning, it's like I'm just studying the letters and the word in the book. I don't know the language. I'm sorry. Go and ask someone who knows the language. He can help you to read. Yeah. I'm just revealing the sentence, the words, and make it accessible to those who know to read. If they say this, yeah, we don't have any problem, right? But they don't say that. They say there's no meaning that.
One thing, Dr.
Right? That's the issue.
Not they don't say, Dr. Nijat, that I don't know the language. They say there is no meaning. There is no meaning, so we shouldn't ask this question because there is no word for it, because it doesn't exist. They deny the meaning and say, if you ask for the meaning, you jump into the realm of mystical. Jump into the realm of mystical. But what is the meaning you learned from the book? Doesn't exist. So no meaning. Now, why beyond? I'm asking now, this man, why beyond? I am asking and I am wondering about a subject which directly concerns my human feelings. For example, what is the meaning of my life? I understand that it is very meaningful. Without meaning, I cannot live. Is there anything in the universe whose existence is meaningless? You know why? One of the, I don't like mentioning names, but this Wittgenstein we are studying. One of the philosophers says we have to learn and we have to face our reality. We have to learn how to live in this world with no meaning. You know this? Yeah. It is so important, this trick, that we are really uh, cheating this. I mean, for those people may be interested in, they should know that. The Feuerbach. This man says, we have to learn how to live in this world with no meaning. That's our reality. We have to go, and then it gives the example of something that takes the uh, big rock, climbs up every day, climbs up to the top of the mountain, and comes back again, goes and comes. Why do you do that? That's what I am doing. The meaning, that's what I am doing. I have to learn to live to live in this world like it is so pity that I'm very sorry for these people. They suffer anyways themselves. Now, anyway, without meaning I cannot live. Is there anything in the universe whose existence is meaningless? Hmm? On science being unable to touch the deepest question. Now, this man is speaking. We feel that even if all possible scientific questions be answered, but Scientific questions, be careful, Dr. Nejati, not human questions. Look at the trick, not deceptive language. Yes, this is the really the heading. Read the heading here. Declaring the bankruptcy of secular science by deceptive language. And they know that this is a deceptive language. Among themselves, they say this. It doesn't explain anything. But to people, they say science will explain everything in the future. Yeah, going back to the Big Bang in the beginning, now in the future, at the moment, there's nothing. So cheating. We feel that even if all possible scientific questions be answered, but be careful, scientific questions, not human questions. Now, be careful, language is so tricky. The problem of life have still not been touched at all. Look at what he says. What is the life? What is the meaning of life? How life existed? We have not touched on it. We have no answer on about it. Of course, there is now, be careful, tricky and ambiguous language he uses. Of course, there is then no question left. It means, and just this is the answer. It means, since we cannot answer what life is, we cannot put life into the lab. Do you understand? We can put the material side of cell in the lab, but we cannot put life in the lab. So there is no question because it is not scientific. It is mystical. Dr. Nejati, have you ever thought that these clever people are saying you don't have life? You just as you are. You are just a lump of meat and bone and blood. أولئك كالأنعام بل هم أضل. The Quran is very severe in its language about these people. They are like animals. No, no, no. Bel means here, no, no, no. Even worse. Now, no, anyway, go that. On the inexpressibility of such questions. For an answer which cannot be expressed, look. Yeah, answer cannot be expressed. What is life? I don't know. I cannot express. The question too cannot be expressed. You cannot ask this question. Do you understand the trick? Do you understand the trick? Because it is beyond science. Science cannot study by life. So you cannot ask this question. It cannot be expressed. The riddle doesn't exist. So there is no question. Shut up. Don't ask me about life. There is no question. There is no problem. The riddle doesn't exist. You see, look at the solution. The doctor is, I'm going crazy. How these people can say this? Even 5 years old child cannot believe. And they are great philosophers. Can you imagine?
I think
One of
it's really very, very sad in a way that those are basic, essential, existential questions that any human with the mind will ask. If you find yourself tomorrow in another planet, you wake up and see all the strange things around you, you can't help yourself but ask question. Why am I here? How did I come here? What is going on? Here is saying, no, don't ask because we cannot put it in a lab, because we cannot do experimental and empirical study, and therefore those questions are not valid. But those are essential human questions. And the human faculty do actually allow them to come up with a good answer as well. It's not that like those are very deep philosophical questions therefore don't ask. It's not really, it's very,
Everybody.
I would say just be human. It's very simple and easy question. You can find the answer if you really get good guidance to ask the question.
Yeah, inshallah. So it's the riddle doesn't exist. There is no problem. No, no, no. If a question, look at his language. I'm not interpreting. While I read the text, it is his writing. If a question can be put at all, then it can also be answered. It means if you put the question, it says, no, you cannot put the question because it is the life or the meaning. And why am I here? All my feelings, where did I get these feelings? You cannot put this question because it doesn't exist. They are mystical. So we have to be that. So there is no answer because there is no question. Why there is no question? Because I excluded from my area. Now, be careful about the contradiction. Now, they are backed into a corner now. Now, soon the bankruptcy will be announced, inshallah. Now, here we should remember this again, once more. What is not caught in my net is not fish. I cannot really answer, it is not a question. There is no such question. No, no, no. They turn blind to truth knowingly, and they are very well aware of it. Here are the fishes. Here are everywhere. But they say, no, 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 they are not fish. They are not fish. Only these ones are fish. Description. I can describe your body, but I cannot say anything about your feelings, about your uh, life, about the question, your consciousness that asks your questions. They say, no, 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 it doesn't exist. We have to be very careful. The scientists use now uses this language, and we have to expose their failure to everyone, inshallah. And then we have to study the universe and respect the universe as the gift from our Creator. We should stop only declaring that our Quran is sacred. No, Quran is sacred, but it is not alone. Universe is sacred. Human feelings are sacred. Human spirit is sacred. Human questions are sacred. They are all sacred. Quran is sacred, but universe is not less sacred than the Quran. So we have to use this capacity. Quran, universe, human feelings, always work together. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Thank you very much. I think it's excellent, alhamdulillah. So if I can summarize briefly, so what we're trying to really cover this week is that science or secular science, as they study the creation, use a tricky language in which that they limit our understanding to the material empirical reality they could capture in the lab. And meanwhile, they set the limit and say, if you go beyond that, if you seek any meaning in creation, you become mystical. But meanwhile, they claim that the creation has no meaning, and meaning is just what you made it up in your mind, and therefore is superstition, it's mystical, is not the subject of objective study of the creation. So what we say, no, that's absolutely a wrong approach, that we are not supposed to have such scientific approach. Muslims didn't have something like this in the golden age of Islam when they were picked at the science, because the Quran referred to creation as the meaningful expression, as the ayah. The Quran referred to creation as a speaking expression as a talk, as a speaking universe. So in this regard, that essentially there's ideology that preventing us to see the sign, preventing us to read those signs with the meaning, with the hikmah. It's like telling us that, yes, you can study the best book written ever, but never think the book has a meaning. You can study the color, you can study the shape, you can study the number of letters, you can study the number of words inside, but never talk about meaning because the book doesn't have any meaning. That's what we say is completely meaningless, that any study of the universe, whether it's physics, chemistry, biology, astronomy, whatever, has to cover the meaning side as well, because everything, every change, every order that we observe in the universe convey and communicate certain message to us. So the universe is a dynamic book. The universe is a speaking book. In this regard, we need to read, reflect, and listen, and then connect to the creator through such a way of listening and reading. And I think the reason that we emphasize this a lot, that when in a modern time, we in a way took away the creation from the believer and restrict the study to just memorization and ritual. So we think that is very, very, in a way, a wrong approach. So we need to reclaim the creation and study the creation as a way of connecting to the creator. So inshallah, we will continue more on that. And let's finish with dua. We know we lasted a little longer, but the subject was very deep and exciting. We apologize for a little longer session today, and inshallah, we'll continue next week.
Now, inshallah,
Yes, definitely. Dua, inshallah.
after your conclusion, I wrote this sentence. The meaning refers to the author, right? Meaning the information you learn in the book, from the book, refers to the author. And the author is not present in the book. Book represents the universe, right? The author is not present in the book. And therefore, it is mystical because it's not here. It is mystical, beyond the realm of science. You cannot ask me about the author of the book because there is no author in the book. Look, be careful. There is no author in the book. Look at the logic. There must be somebody among us who has 3 years old child, boy or girl. Ask this logic to the child will laugh at you. Now, you must be joking, Daddy. Do you understand how inconsistent they are, but at the same time, how they speak with confidence and really present as if they are the brilliant people. Yes, they are smart, but they are not really genuinely brilliant. They are just cheaters, cheating people and obstinately denying God and trying to demonstrate as if they are representing the reality, truth. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعوانا إن الحمد لله رب العالمين بحرمة سر سورة الفاتحة.